All right, before we even talk numbers, let me say this clearly. This is not just a fast car. This is one of those machines that changed the rules. The kind of car that makes even non-car people stop and say, wait, how fast did you say? For years, 300 miles per hour wasn't a goal. It was a joke, a fantasy, something people compared to fighter jets, not road cars. If you want a reference, a cheetah, the fastest animal on land, tops out at around 120 kilometers per hour. Blink once, and this Bugatti has already left it in another universe. Even airplanes don't hit this speed on the ground. And then Bugatti decided to cross that line. Back in 2019, on a closed test track with everything perfectly controlled, a Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus did something no production-based car had ever done before. It hit 490 kilometers per hour. Think about that for a second. That's faster than most people's brain can even process. At that speed, you're not driving forward anymore. You're compressing reality. At that moment, this stopped being about competition. It became history. Now let's talk about what makes this possible. At the heart of this car is an 8.0-liter W16 engine, 4 turbochargers, 1,600 horsepower. But here's the thing most people miss. Power alone means nothing at this level. Anyone can chase big numbers on paper. Very few can make them usable and survivable. Imagine lining this car up against anything else with wheels. A Formula One car? In corners, yes, it wins. But on a straight line, this Bugatti would disappear like it teleported. At nearly 500 kilometers per hour, the biggest enemy isn't the engine. It's not the road. It's the air. The air becomes solid. It pushes back. It tries to lift the car, twist it, destroy it. That's why this version looks different. The body is longer, smoother, more stretched. Every line is there for a reason. Every curve exists to keep the car stable when the air itself is trying to tear it apart. Even the tires aren't normal. Michelin had to design custom tires just for this car. Not high-performance tires, physics-defying tires. After high-speed tests, those tires weren't reused. They were cut open and x-rayed. That's not marketing drama. That's fear mixed with respect for speed. And then there's the human part, because no matter how advanced the technology is, someone still has to sit behind the wheel. At these speeds, you don't correct mistakes. You don't experiment. If you imagine racing anything, a hypercar, a jet, even time itself, this is the moment where hesitation loses. You are either calm, focused, and precise, or it's over. This isn't driving anymore. It's controlled trust between the machine and the person inside it. Here's another detail most people don't know. The car that broke the record is not exactly the same as the one customers can buy. Bugatti intentionally limited the top speed of the customer versions. Not because they couldn't go faster, but because they understood something important. There's a point where speed stops being impressive and starts being irresponsible. And Bugatti knows exactly where that line is. Only 30 units of the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus were ever made. The price? Around $4 million. But people didn't buy this car for luxury. They bought it to own a moment where humans looked at physics and said, let's see how far this really goes. For me, this car represents something bigger. It proves that there are still engineers, designers, and drivers who are willing to push beyond limits. Not for hype, not for clicks, not just for numbers, but for the challenge itself. And trust me, this isn't the end. The world is full of records, machines, and stories that are even crazier than this one. If you don't want to miss the strangest records, the most extreme machines, and the kinds of stories you won't hear everywhere, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos here. They're way crazier than you think.